Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Swastiastu. Salam sejahtera bagi kita bersama. Namo Buddhaya. Salam kebajikan. Good morning and welcome to this beautiful island of Bali in this beautiful occasion this morning. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ASEAN Capital Markets Forum International Conference 2023, transitioning towards sustainable capital markets, the ACMF perspectives. Let's give a round of applause for our event this morning. Thank you. In Indonesia, we recognize one proverb. There are many proverbs actually, but one proverb is known as tak kenal maka tak sayang. Or we may say it in English as if we want to know someone better or spend at least an hour with the person, at least we have to know the name. So please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Dian Ariswari, your MC for today. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, this conference is hosted by Otoritas Jasa Keuangan, OJK, and is jointly organized with ASEAN Development Bank. The objective of this conference is to share with stakeholders the implementations of the ACMF's initiatives in sustainability and promote the transition towards ASEAN sustainable capital markets. The milestone made by ACMF in 2023 in the realm of sustainability will be launched or announced at this conference, and furthermore, the conference will also highlight the latest developments in the capital market of the ACMF members' jurisdictions through a conversation with the leaders of the ACMF members. Your Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, allow me please to also greet our guests of honor for this morning. We have the Chairman of the Board of Commissioners of OJK, Bapak Mahendra Siregar, along with the member of the Board of Commissioners of OJK, Bapak Inarno Jayadi and Bapak Hasan Fauzi. And then also we would like to also use this opportunity to greet the Secretary General of Laos Securities Commission's Office and ACMF Vice Chair 2023. Head of Delegates of Securities and Exchange Regulator of Cambodia, Monetary Authority, the Securities Commissions of Malaysia, Securities and Exchange Commissions of Myanmar, Securities and Exchange Commissions Philippines, Monetary Authority of Singapore, Securities and Exchange Commission Thailand, State Securities Commissions of Vietnam, and of course, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we will have several agenda during this conference. We will start with the welcoming remarks and then continue with a keynote speech and the launching events. And after that, we're going to have an opening remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, after that, we will continue by having our panel discussions, conversations with ACMF leaders on capital market development in ASEAN, and of course, the ACMF 2024 perspective, then concluded with the closing remarks. And this morning, we are very happy to have a welcome remarks, which will be delivered by the Senior Director, Finance Sector Office of Asian Development Bank. Please welcome Ms. Christine Engstrom.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to see you all here today and to welcome, I think, about 600 participants online. So it's a great turnout today. Chairman of the Board of Commissioners of OJK, Pa Mahendra Siregar, Chief Executive of Capital Markets Supervision, Derivatives, and Carbon Exchange at OJK, and ACMF Chair Pa Inarno Jayadi, members of the Financial Regulatory Fraternity from the ASEAN countries, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, Selamat Pagi, I hope I pronounced that correctly, and a very warm welcome. My name is Christine Engstrom, and I'm head of the finance sector at the Asian Development Bank for the Sovereign Operations, and I'm really delighted to be here today. First, I'd like to thank the ASEAN Capital Markets Forum, for inviting ADB to join this international conference on this very wonderful island. And thank you so much for all the hard work that our organizers put into this conference. Southeast Asia holds the promise of emerging as a leader for sustainable finance projects, driven by a need to address the increasingly frequent climate change shocks that we're all experiencing. Also contributing to this need is the restructuring and transformation of the coal-fueled economic growth engines of the past to achieve the goals set forward in the Paris Agreement, as well as then to promote long-term growth opportunities for us. We're really at the cusp, I think, of realizing some of the opportunities out in this field, and you are very instrumental to this work that we'll be doing. As a key intermediator for climate finance and investment, capital markets can effectively redirect capital to climate transition. Therefore, the theme of this conference, transitioning towards sustainable capital markets, is quite timely. Sustainable infrastructure and financing are really two sides of the same coin. Ultimately, the objective is for ASEAN countries to put the infrastructure building blocks in place to help create jobs that are of quality, attract investment, and improve public services while tackling the overlapping ecological, social, and climate crises. Despite the recent contraction following a surge in sustainable bond markets, sustainable finance has experienced widespread expansion. For example, the total amount of sustainable debt annually increased from 0.25 billion in 2016 to 6.75 billion in 2021, bringing the total outstanding sustainable debt to about 24 billion, which is really quite impressive. But we have a long way to go. The sustainable debt and equity markets still need to be larger to meet the funding needs for ASEAN economies for their various sustainability objectives, suggesting that the potential for further growth of sustainable finance is really largely untapped. Amongst the many positives, one can count increased sovereign issuances and a range of policy and market development initiatives that have further strengthened the regulatory and technical landscape. The ASEAN region saw an increase in deal sizes and tenors, and expanding sustainable bond menu, which now includes green bonds, social bonds, sustainability-linked bonds, and transition bonds. And I think they're going to be coming out new blue bonds as well, too. So a number of different colors across the rainbow that we're seeing. I'm very excited about this. In ASEAN, there's also been progress in prioritizing sustainable infrastructure, such as renewable energy, sanitation, and public transportation systems. However, the region still needs to really mainstream these projects. And I know a lot of you are working on this. Questions remain about the risks of inaccurate valuation of sustainable assets due to the lack of consistent data, disclosure, and sustainable finance classifications. The ASEAN taxonomy for sustainable finance and the ACMF's work around sustainability reporting and disclosures to align with the International Sustainability Standards Boards really points now in the right direction as the region looks to tackle climate change, seek international funding for transition projects, and put in place a framework that will allow the region to attract sustainable finance. Looking forward in terms of kind of key areas that we need to address to take steps to boost sustainable infrastructure investments and other sustainable investments, a few thoughts from us. First, stimulate investors' participation by adapting regulations to promote the involvement of institutional investors such as pension funds and insurance companies, which are really key investor groups. Assessing the large investment potential and adapting regulation for unlocking investment in green, social, or sustainable instruments is really vital to support capital markets that are sustainable. Countries should consider adapting regulations for domestic institutional investors to facilitate the diffusion of these funds on sustainable infrastructure and other sustainable investments. Second, create incentives at targeted risk mitigation mechanisms, such as currency risk mitigation, first loss provisions, viability gap funding, and liquidity facilities. Third, explore the use of derivatives to facilitate capital raising via the hedging of risk related to sustainable investments. Derivatives, as we all know, enhance the underlying securities transparency and price formation process, thus fostering long-term decision-making. Fourth, differentiate sustainable and regular assets through labeling standards for sustainable investments beyond bond-type instruments. So only right now, bond-type instruments currently have a sustainability label. This practice of labeling could be expanded to other infrastructure investments. As we know that there are clear and distinguishable labeling of sustainable investments can really stimulate the market. And we're really looking and seeing out there that investors really want to understand that there's proper labeling and not greenwashing going on. Lastly, redesign and innovate with investment vehicles by adapting existing regulations to catalyze sustainable infrastructure investments. The definition of infrastructure or sustainable infrastructure as a separate asset class could promote the development of dedicated sustainability labels. So sustainable finance is increasingly proving to us that it can generate solid returns, address risk posed by climate change, and offer valuable portfolio diversification opportunities. ACMF is an excellent platform to further strengthen and develop close collaboration and cooperation amongst regulators in the ASEAN region. ADB would like to continue to work collectively as a strong Asian voice on core issues that concern the sustainable development of Asian capital markets, recognizing the diversity of the ASEAN economies and promoting greater regional convergence of standards. In conclusion, I hope that you'll find this conference enriching and informative and exciting. Please take the opportunity to engage with ACMF as well as ADB. We're all here to work together to develop a vibrant ASEAN capital markets ecosystem that facilitates and mobilizes private sector capital for the financing of the Sustainable Development Goals. Thank you, everyone, and enjoy the conference.
Thank you so much, Miss Christine Engstrom. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for your information, this conference, we have over 250 in-person participants and over 700 online participants from 10 ASEAN member countries and from diverse representations of the ASEAN community. Moving on to the next keynote speech, we are very honored to have the Chief Executive of Capital Market, Financial Derivatives and Carbon Exchange Supervisor, currently a member of the Board of Commissioners of OJK and also the ACMF Chair 2023 that will deliver his keynote speech. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Bapak Inarno Jayadi.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, selamat pagi, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Let me greet first Ibu Christine Engstrom, Senior Director of Finance Sector Office of Asian Development Bank, Bapak Mahendra Siregar, Chairman of OJK Board of Commissioners, my fellow Commissioner of OJK, Bapak Hasan Fauzi, esteemed members of the Asian Capital Market Forum, honorable speakers, distinguished guests, and fellow stakeholders, ladies and gentlemen. I'm truly honored to stand before you today in my capacity as the chair of ACMF for 2023. It is an excellent opportunity for OJK to take on the role of the chair of ACMF for 2023. This privilege allows us to collaborate with dedicated partners such as the ADB, SFIA, the Asian Secretariat, esteemed expert, dynamic private sector, and all relevant stakeholders. We deeply appreciate the collaborative spirit among our fellow regulators and ACMF members. I'm humbled by the opportunity to share my thoughts with you during this brief keynote address. One of the main spirit guiding Indonesia's leadership within ASEAN is to encourage ASEAN to become the epicentrum of growth. This underscores the significance of ASEAN global position. In the face of environmental and social challenges posed by climate change and in alignment with the Paris Agreement, it is imperative that we, as a collective force, play a pivotal role in the global transition agenda toward a low-carbon economy and sustainable future. Since 2019, ACMF has charted its path by introducing the roadmap for Asian sustainable capital markets. The sustainability journey even began in 2017 with the inception of the Asian Green Bond Standards. Subsequently, ACMF achieved numerous milestones, highlighting significant progress that has been made along the journey. Today, at this conference, we'll witness the launch of yet another set of milestones. Our conference today also features pivotal discussions that bring together distinguished speakers, each with wealth, knowledge, and experience. The theme of today's conference is Transitioning Toward Sustainable Capital Market, the ACMF Perspective. We will engage in thorough discussion on critical topics related to transition, which are central to ACMF's initiatives and align with the global transition agenda. First, we will delve into the transition aspect within the Asian taxonomy and the role it plays in helping the entities formulate their transition plans. We are honored to have industry representatives from banks and asset managers sharing their insights on how Asian taxonomy can assist in allocating portfolios to transition activities. Second, credibility is another crucial aspect of the transition. ACMF addresses this essential issue by introducing the Asian Transition Finance Guidance. This guidance helps assess climate ambition and the ability to deliver sustainability goals, providing investors with a framework to evaluate transition credibility for financing. Third, the conference will explore the role of carbon market in accelerating decarbonization. The discussion will be based on the current state development of voluntary carbon market within members' countries and emphasize the importance of transparency and accountability in carbon offsetting. Fourth, we will discuss the IFRS Sustainability Disclosure Standards. Staying updated with the latest development in sustainability reporting is crucial to our region. We will explore how ISSB standards can be implemented, including their interoperability with other sustainability disclosure standards. Lastly, we'll shed light on the revised Asian Corporate Governance Scorecard, or ACGS, where sustainability is one of the key revisions. In conclusions, today's conference marks a significant milestone, a moment for us to reflect on the progress we have achieved and chart our way forward. Let us engage in the discussion and extract the key takeaways that will guide our future actions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Bapak, please remain on the stage. As now, we would like to invite our honored leaders to also join Bapak Inarno. Please remain on the stage. As now, once again, we would like to invite the honored leaders to be up on the stage. Ms. Sangsuripong Fong Chinda, His Excellency, Mr. Su Su Chit, Dr. Awang Adek, His Excellency, Mr. Mong Mong Wee, Mr. Kevin Lester Kelly, Miss Abigail Ng, Miss Waracha Srimachan, Miss Fang Hoi An. Ladies and gentlemen, we will witness the launching procession as the leaders on the stage are already hold a traditional Balinese instruments. So this traditional Balinese instruments is known as Reong Bali. And together later on, they will do the striking of the Reong Bali in my countdown. And this is for the launch processions of the significant milestones of ACMF in 2023. Ready? In my countdown. On 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, the significant milestones of ACMF in 2023 is now officially launched. Now we're going to hear a short speech by Bapak Inarno first, please.
Thank you very much. After the long meeting yesterday, we have achieved several achievements today. And we are starting from Pak Ade Awang. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I prepared some. Okay. Sorry for that. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Securities Commission Malaysia, together with SEC Philippines, co-chairs of ACMF Sustainable Finance Working Group. And on behalf of the working group, I'm pleased to present the ASEAN Transition Finance Guidance this morning. So we are very excited, and we think that would be a very useful document for ACFM, Asian Capital Market Forum, ACMF, to guide us towards transitioning to a sustainable capital market in ASEAN. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much on behalf of us, ACMF. Thank you for all audience here and physically or in virtually. Thank you very much. Oh, okay. And Asian way, okay? Okay, one second.
Please have a photo session for a while in 3, 2, 1. Please remain on the stage as we would like to also invite to join them on the stage. We kindly invite Bapak Mahendra Siregar and Bapak Hasan Fauzi. Please look at the main photographer, the one that raised his hand. Fotografer utama mungkin boleh mengangkat tangan Anda. Fotografer utama boleh mengangkat tangan. Please kindly look at only through his lens. In 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much for another photo session, please. And we would like to also invite Ms. Kristen Armstrong to also join the photo session. Another photo session, please look at the main photographer in 3, 2, 1. Thank you. And now please remain on the stage for Bapak Mahendra Siregar, Bapak Inarno Jayadi, and also Bapak Hasan Fauzi. For other leaders, you may return back to your seat. Once again, Bapak Mahendra Siregar, Bapak Inarno Jayadi, and also Bapak Hasan Fauzi, please remain on the stage as we will continue with the next photo session. Now we would like to invite for the next photo session, Ms. Christine Engstrom, Mr. Eugene Wong, Mr. Marvin Castell, Mr. Afiro Louis Amatong, and Mr. Bing Leng to also join for the next photo session. And now please look at the main photographer once again. Fotografer utama boleh angkat tangan. Please look at only through his lens in 3, 2, 1. Another round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. And for Bapak Mahendra, please remain on the stage. Bapak Mahendra, please remain on the stage as we will continue with the opening remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, after the photo session, in this beautiful occasion, we are very honored to have an opening remarks by the Chairman of the Board of Commissioners of Otoritas Jasa Keuangan, Bapak Mahendra Siregar, please.
Ms. Christine Ekstrom, the Senior Director of Finance Sector's Office of the ADB, my fellow commissioners of OJK, Pak Inarno Jayadi and Pak Hasan Fauzi, fellow ASEAN supervisory authorities and heads of ASEAN member states delegations to ACMF meetings, our distinguished speakers and moderators, our distinguished members of financial industries and participants. Very good morning, a warm welcome to you all who are present today by offline, but also those who join us by online IT. It is an honor to welcome you to the ACMF International Conference hosted by OJK as the chair in 2023 with the support of Asia Development Bank. I wish to take this opportunity to express my appreciation for the unwavering support for ACMF in promoting the development of ASEAN capital markets. Established in 2004, under the auspices of the ASEAN finance ministers, the ACMF has and is an instrumental development indeed to produce a deep, liquid, and integrated regional capital market. In the post-2015 phase of regional integration, ACMF is also committed to achieving the 2025 vision of realizing interconnected, inclusive, and resilient ASEAN capital markets. This nearly two-decade journey has been marked by numerous significant milestones. And today, at this conference, we look towards setting further targets in consolidating and expanding on the role of ACMF. Distinguished colleagues, participants, the development of vibrant, sustainable capital markets depends on ASEAN assuring continued economic growth to meet the social aspirations of our peoples. Overall growth rates in ASEAN have been impressive since the founding of ACMF in 2004. Although we do face unprecedented challenges, to include the recent fallout from the COVID pandemic, geopolitical tensions, and addressing the adverse consequences of the economic policies of number of major trading partners. However, while ASEAN managed to mitigate a number of these unprecedented challenges, we must be able to continue to develop the strength of our economies. While we can develop various financing instruments, we need an industrial sector that is vibrant and can underpin and accelerate growth. In the ASEAN context, one of the means of achieving this is to invest increasingly in value added. We must exploit our natural resources and move downstream into value added from mineral to natural resources. We can no longer afford to be positioned as primary raw material suppliers with value being added elsewhere. I mention this because I will now turn into sustainability, and I wish to stress that achieving a greening economy depends on strong economic growth. And in turn, this depends on a vibrant industrial sector. And it is increasingly clear that environmental objectives are unlikely to be achieved unless the economic and social aspirations of our peoples are met. In this respect, the alleviation of poverty is critical. Dear colleagues or participants, ASEAN member countries have made substantial commitments to promote sustainable development and address the socio-environmental risks associated with climate change in alignment with the goals outlined in the Paris Agreement. In the support of the commitment made, ACMF provided the roadmap for ASEAN sustainable capital markets in 2019 as a guideline to enhance sustainability across the region. It reinforces the region's commitment to the global climate agenda while addressing the unique challenges and opportunities specific to Southeast Asia's sustainable development and financial markets. It is pleasing to note that while aligning with international commitments, ACMF has also encouraged a flexible approach by adapting the realities of ASEAN in general, in addition to the context of each individual member. I congratulated, therefore, the issuance of the ASEAN Taxonomy for Sustainable Finance version 2 earlier this year, because it was the first international or regional taxonomy in the world that subscribed the idea of phasing out early a coal-based power plant as a green project. This is a leadership type which is needed by ASEAN to show the world and fellow developing countries and emerging economies how we should integrate and promote the climate and energy transition together with the need and relevance of socio-economic progress of developing countries. At the same time, ACMF has been promoting the issuance of green, social, and sustainability bonds with the use of proceed clauses. As the global focus shifts towards achieving the target of reducing greenhouse gas emission to net zero, the focus of the ACMF is centered on how ASEAN capital markets can facilitate transition financing by encouraging the issuance of sustainability-linked bonds as performance-based instruments. And as we are approaching the deadline for achieving our nationally determined contribution, the NDC, and net zero target, ACMF must assume a leadership role in this area as well. However, it is crucial, again, to ensure that these transformation initiatives align with a reasonable and a progressive timetable, balancing environmental and social aspects with economic growth. Distinguished participants, while we are focusing on emission targets within the context of the Paris Accord, the prerequisite for meeting these targets is promote a strong economic and social fabric. And in this respect, I believe that the United Nations SDGs 2030 is of equal importance to the Paris Accord, and that the objectives set out in both cannot be achieved without the other. In terms of sustainable financing, we may well need to adjust our various instruments for a greening economy to value those industries that generate, for example, significant employment or are essential in the supply chain of sustainability, such as the electric car vehicle industry. I would also like to remind us in using a realistic transition time frame, and the need to strategize the transition. In the case of ASEAN and Indonesia, we are still very much in emerging and developing economies. And our industries are still very much geared to fossil fuels. Our industries need to generate employment opportunities and create the wealth to generate the taxes that allow for government policies to be developed to include those associated not only with addressing climate change, but also the alleviation of poverty. In other words, a vibrant industrial sector is not detrimental to the achieving of environmental objectives. It is essential. And our private sector should be geared not only to meeting the goals of NDC under Paris Accord, but also at the same time encouraged to meet the UN SDGs goals by 2030. Having laid out number of general issues, allow me to share with you Indonesia's progress to support the transition financing. Indonesia holds a strong commitment to promoting sustainable finance to facilitate a transition to low carbon economy. The Financial Sector Omnibus Law, enacted in January 2023, mandates financing the transition from carbon-intensive to carbon-neutral activities. Achieving a sustainable, inclusive, and just transition requires stakeholders' participation and international cooperation. In order to ensure this, and as I have previously mentioned, we need to recognize the pivotal role that industries play, for example, adding value to the economy. This is the enhancement of the Indonesian green taxonomy that we are now revising in the form of the Indonesian Sustainable Taxonomy version 1, which will cover all the NDC sector in the next development. But for the current stage, we will focus on the energy sector. The enhancement seeks to confer value to those industries that are instrumental to meeting to the SDGs 2030. In conclusion, let me emphasize key messages that should resonate with all of us. First, within the context of Indonesia chairmanship in ASEAN, and now just being transferred to Laos, seen as ASEAN epicentrum of growth, it is evident that ASEAN region holds an important position on the global stage. ASEAN must actively engage in and contribute to the global transition agenda. ASEAN Capital Market and ACMF, as a grouping of ASEAN capital market regulators, should continue to play a key role in shaping this transition. Second, as we continue our journey towards sustainability, the ACMF's initiatives will maintain their alignment with ASEAN commitments within the Paris Accord and the UN SDG 2030, and dovetail these commitments to the particular context of ASEAN. Third, success in these initiatives rely heavily on partnership and collaboration, working together with various stakeholders, including fellow regulators, multilateral development banks like the ADB, our industries, non-governmental organizations, market participants, and other relevant entities is essential to achieve the desired outcomes. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I hope the ACMF conference today is more than just another conference. It is a milestone, a reflection of our collective commitment, and a showcase of our progress and strong leadership. It is a testament to what we can achieve when ASEAN comes together to build a more sustainable future for our region. I look forward to the exchange of views and discussions among our distinguished speakers today and with all of you participants. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Bapak Mahendra Siregar. Ladies and gentlemen, what an insightful session that we have with Bapak Mahendra Siregar. And ladies and gentlemen, as earlier, we have witnessed the official launch of the significant milestones of the ACMF in 2023. So after having a short break later on, we will continue by also listening to a short speech from the Mr. Calvin Lester, and then also Ms. Abigail Ng, and also Ms. Waracha Srimachan, that will be happening, of course, after the short break. And now, as we also already noticed that the members of countries of ASEAN have made significant commitments to foster sustainable development in the region and mitigate the social and environmental risks linked to climate change. In alignment with these commitments, in 2019, ACMF launched the Roadmap for ASEAN Sustainable Capital Markets to guide its effort in promoting sustainable finance in the region. Since then, ACMF has forged ahead in pursuits of sustainability through its various initiatives. With an unwavering spirit of collaboration among ACMF members, a strong commitment to inclusivity, and valuable support from development partners, ACMF has consistently made substantial progress on its sustainability agenda. To reflect ACMF's progress on its sustainability journey, the ACMF Conference 2023 today will feature pivotal discussions surrounding the topic of transitioning towards sustainable capital markets. And before we start the first panel session and also another short speech regarding the significant milestones of ACMF in 2023, we would like to now invite you to join us for the coffee break session. Ladies and gentlemen, the coffee and also tea are already served at the foyer area. Please kindly join us for the coffee and tea session. And after that, please kindly return back to this main ballroom to start the next session. We're going to continue the next session 15 minutes after this. So we'll see you again at 9:45 a.m. local time. Enjoy your coffee and tea. Thank you.